Hey everyone, welcome to my little video on the Loomis method, which is what I used to learn to draw heads. Hopefully I can show you how it works and maybe you'll learn from it too. I've drawn a little thumbnail of the Loomis method. I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to draw a bigger face just here so you can see it in action. So it starts off with a circle. I'm going to try and keep these constriction lines light so it doesn't confuse the drawing too much, but so you can still see what I'm trying to do. So the first line is straight through the middle, and then you want to break up the head into thirds. But you've got to have a little bit of control over where these lines go, because the centre line is always going to be in the centre. Even if you tilt the head, it's still going to be, it might not look central on the paper or on the screen, but it'll be centre of the face. The next two are going to be, will determine sort of the whole height of the face. So if you draw it too low, you're going to have a really squashed up face. And even if you're just a little bit too high, you'll end up with a very tall face by the time you put all your other landmarks in. So as I've done here, the bottom of this ball wants to be about halfway between that line and that line, or basically half the distance of this one, which is going to be about there, something like that. Let's just come a little lower, and then of course whatever distance that is there, you want to match it up here, so it's about that. And once you get used to drawing like this, you can have a lot of fun playing around with the proportions. But when you're starting out, it's probably better to try and keep it as close to these proportions as you can. Otherwise you'll end up with some weird shaped heads. So now we've got all these four in. The four lines make you thirds. These two lines, we're going to try and replicate that. So you want to put an ellipse in, which is going to indicate the side of the head. And then you're going to drop across from the top of the ellipse straight down. And then we're going to copy over something like that. Now these are only guides, so don't get too hung up on if your proportions or your features of the face don't hit them precisely. It's just to try and keep you on track. I usually find my chins run over a touch. We'll just so already it's starting to look like a head, a face. Let's just carry on putting these landmarks in. So this bottom quarter, now you've chopped up that ellipse, the bottom one becomes the ear. So I'm just going to rough in an ear shape. Any old ear shape will do. Usually come to the top about there, abandon that line, and then come back in. Something like that. Put a little U shape there, and then maybe just bring another line, something like that. We'll sort that out later. I don't want to get too caught up with details at this early stage. So the next bit is the forehead, which let's just label these up. Forehead, that's your brow line. This is the base of the nose. And that'll be your chin. This is a male head, so quite often make the chin a little deeper and broader. On a female head, you can probably keep it a bit closer to that guideline, but this will work. So I'm just going to drop the shape of the forehead in, and then just as the eyebrows begin, I'll just sort of kick it out a little bit, and then you can just drop it back round, something like that. And then this immediately becomes the cheekbone, so you want to come back off and then back in, and then just below the nose you're going to have like the mouth area, which is sort of basically where the bottom of the ball sits, something like that. So as you come down, you want to flare it back out where the mouth is, and then quickly come back in. I've gone a bit too mad there. Just a little bump to show that there's a flare. Let's just put the centre line in, which is going to be something like that. Now we can put the brows in properly. Something like that. Indicate the nose. Don't want to go too mad with the nose. That's not too bad. And then just put a crease line in to show where the mouth starts. Indicate the bottom lip. Don't draw the bottom lip in full on a man, because it looks really feminine. It's an odd look. Well, it's an odd look if it's not what you're going for. Something like that. Let's just give this a wipe down because I'm getting bits everywhere. I'm just going to indicate the eyes. Eyes come off the width of the nose, so this one wants to sit about there somewhere. And I think I'm just going to go in for like a modified hexagonal shape. Something like that. And then we're going to have him looking right at us, so we can put the eyeball kind of there. Same on this side, just like a modified. Oh, too much. Modified hexagonal shape. With him looking right at us. And then just to keep the eyes under control, I tend to put a lot of shadow on them. Just keeps them a little smaller. Let's just put a little kick in there. And something like that. And then we can look at the the hairline, which is sort of half done for us because we've put a few construction lines in. If you're going to do a bald guy, obviously we just follow it round and give him some kind of a head shape, but we'll put hair on this one, so I'll bring this in. You want to go like a little, make the centre line what the hair points at. Might have gone too high there. Let's just bring that in. So bring it round until it meets this ellipse, and then follow the ellipse down about halfway, and then cut it back in, and then drop that down. A bit of sideburn action, and then you can kind of loosely follow the shape of the round. But I tend to want to do like a peak. Again, it depends on the angle that you're looking at the character, and then just bring it back and then narrow it as you meet the ear again, and then somewhere around the ear area you can bring off the neckline, and then somewhere around here do the same, something like that. And then we can start adding a little bit of detail, not too much at this point. I'm still not happy about something. I've come in a bit too high there. It should have been more like that. It's a bit better. And then we can start tidying up. Commit some lines, put some wrinkles in. Add a bit of shadow. I'm just going to, with teeth, I don't draw in each individual tooth because it just looks horrendous. Unless that's the look you're going for, as always. So I usually just put a little line in, a little V. Thicken that line up a little bit. And because he's smiling, as he smiles, that's going to kick out this bit of skin here. Just like that. Maybe drop another one down. And then we can kind of bring in a crease here. A crease there. And toughen up this line a bit. So we want to put this section in a bit of shadow, so I'm going to drop that around there. I just realised I made his neck like a tree trunk. Nah, that's better. You've got to be careful when you add in drop shadow under a nose, because it can give the character a moustache that possibly shouldn't be there. But we can just maybe indicate shadow there. And put some clothes on him, make him look a little more presentable. And do the hair. You got to be careful with your creases, because it can age your character very heavily, as it does in real life, I guess. I think we will call that it for that one. But yeah, that's how I use the Loomis method for drawing heads. See you in the next one.